Well, well. Seems it's finally official. The Acolyte Season 2 cancelled. And presumably, there's going to be no more content for Acolyte at all. I don't think they're going to do a fucking movie or something. God, I hope not. But I kind of wanted to make this video just because I've yet to watch The Acolyte. I've heard, obviously, the rumors, we'll call them, of some of the plot points, some of the things that happen in the show, and just overall what the community's thoughts are on the show. Not watched it myself. Some might say I have, not yet poisoned myself by actually watching it. I'm definitely not on any suicide hotlines or anything, because of the, show or anything. But I've recently gotten back into Star Wars, mainly because of my Lego obsession, but I've made a pretty, I don't know how you say, a long journey planned where I'm going to go through all the Star Wars content and watch them and rate them kind of objectively now that I'm like going through them again. And so far I've watched the 5 episodes. I have yet to watch episode 3, so I've watched episode 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. The George Lucas ones, obviously, of Star Wars. But I decided, I'm eventually going to get around to watching The Acolyte. And The Acolyte may have one of the worst ratings of a Star Wars film of all time, but I thought, okay, I'll give it a chance. Lo and behold, it gets announced that Season 2 is being cancelled, and presumably, again, they're not going to do anything else with the story. And I'm just going to kind of go on a little rant and tangent here, because I'm pretty pissed off that Star Wars is making all these shit shows, alright? Now again, I haven't watched most of modern Star Wars media. I've seen clips of Obi-Wan, I've seen clips of Ahsoka, I've seen clips of Acolyte. I have not watched the full show. So if you want to hate me and be like, well, you haven't watched the full show, so you don't have any right to speak on the show or give it a rating or whatever, okay, fair enough. But what I will say is that before even watching The Acolyte, I already hate it. So number one, the Season 2 gets cancelled, presumably because it does like shit, and it was shit. It was the least watched final season of all time, or final episode of all time for Star Wars in Disney Plus. Even worse than Obi-Wan, which Obi-Wan was actually way higher rated than I thought. Even worse than Boba Fett, which is way higher than I thought. So maybe I'll hate those a lot less. But Acolyte just seems to be shit. Everything I've seen from it is terrible. Number one, the writers literally have stated it's for women. Like, newsflash, I hate to be that guy, but Star Wars isn't mainly women. And I understand you're trying to, get a certain audience. You're trying to pull in everyone. But the core problem is, women don't care about space sci-fi shooters. Now, some do, okay? Some do. I'm sure there's maybe 1 in 1,000 or something like that. But as a majority standpoint, you're not going to get people... You're not going to get the women who go watch Barbie to watch Star Wars because you have a female lead. And your whole cast is lesbian. It's not how that works. That's not inclusivity. Inclusivity is like having Mace Windu as a Jedi councilman and no one ever referencing the fact that he's black. It's just, he's Mace Windu, he's a badass Jedi, he has his own lightsaber because he's a cool person in real life, and George Lucas was like, what the heck, we'll do it because it's goofy. And now, obviously, with, books and stuff like that, the Mace Windu purple lightsaber makes sense. All that shit. But my point is that black people are in Star Wars already. You have Lando Calrissian. I love them in the older episodes. They were sick. The episode 4, 5... By the way, 4, 5, and 6 were made in fucking 1977, 80, and 83. I didn't even know that until I started watching them again. Really good movies for the time. But yeah, Lando Calrissian, an absolute G. He's basically Han Solo, but rich, with a fucking city. And I know he's not, like, rich, but you get my point. And then Mace Windu, obviously being on the council, he's a black dude. That's how you have inclusivity. like, I'd imagine if I was a colored person watching the show, and I see, oh, damn, Mace Windu's black, and Mace Windu's a badass who challenges Palpatine and shit like that, that's pretty fucking cool, you know? Likewise, if I'm a white dude, and I'm watching an alien show, and there's one white dude in the whole show of aliens, then I feel more attracted to that white dude. You know what I mean? They don't need to reference the fact that he's white, he just needs to be there and do cool things. That's what I imagine it is for Lando and Mace Windu. The issue with the Acolyte is that women aren't watching the show, so no one is watching the show and being like, damn, I really resonate with these characters. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, the LGBTQ community might be fucking large, but they don't care about Star Wars. They're not looking for, they're not looking to watch shows, they're looking to just, like, convert shows. And that's what happened with Acolyte. And unfortunately, now the season got canceled because it's shit, you know? I've heard the rumors of, like, Plagueis and shit like that being in the show. I haven't seen anything like that yet. My main problem, to be honest with you, is the Force baby thing. And I understand Planet of Lesbians, so they force babies. Number one, that's a terrible, like premise to just say, you know? Force babies? I don't know, we're going on the edge of some certain topics. You know what I mean? It's not really something you want to be known for. Oh, well, what show did you do? The show with the forced babies. Yeah, I don't know. We're going on the edge there with that. But my main problem is that Anakin Skywalker, obviously the OG Skywalker, made by Palpatine through the Force, that is his whole identity. That's pretty much why he's so strong. That's pretty much why he was so, like, built up to be Darth Vader, because he was made by his master at the time. It's like a perfect threaded story. The issue with the Acolyte is that there's just Force babies are just normal. Like, you just make Force babies. I guess if you're two women. Alright then. And it's just like a lazy way of implementing it, you know? It's like having everyone use a purple lightsaber randomly. It just doesn't make fucking sense at all. I've also seen the clips of Acolyte. I don't know what the main character's name is, but her picking up a lightsaber and it just turning a different color. I think it was a blue lightsaber and then turned red, or a red that turned blue? I don't remember, because I lost that many brain cells seeing that clip. That's not how lightsabers work, ever. And again, they already do stuff like an artificial lightsaber, you could say. Or like something where it's like, okay, everyone perceives a lightsaber a certain way, but knowing this thing changes the idea of what a lightsaber really is. Everyone unanimously knows a lightsaber is typically the fucking, I guess the hilt, I guess you would call it. And it has a kyber crystal, and the kyber crystal causes the color. A Jedi has to do a training thing in order to get the kyber crystal, 9 times out of 10. That's typically how it works. And then, you know, the glow represents that. Now, there's things in the lore that make it really cool to where Jedi can make artificial crystals that are like synthetic kyber crystals, and that's eventually what Luke ends up doing when he loses his first lightsaber. He makes an artificial kyber crystal. It's shunned, I think, by the Sith, but basically there's a whole world view in Star Wars about it. My issue with just having a lightsaber turned red is the same issue I have with Rey in the last film, or the second last Star Wars film, using Force lightning when she's trying to use the Force to pick up something, you know? And it was like, oops, well, it looks like Chewbacca's dead now. My bad. Yeah, that scene, like, speaks out into my mind. That's pretty much what I thought when we're looking at a red lightsaber, or a blue lightsaber that turns red. It's not how the Force works. The Force is quite literally, like, two things, and they're separate from each other. They don't, like, fucking mix to make... Oh, it's just annoying looking at, you know? But yeah, those are, like, the two main things I've seen. Other than that, it's just a bunch of cringy dialogue, or a bunch of, like, really dumb... I think they even do some sort of... I saw a clip where they were doing some sort of pronoun thing. Just get this shit out of Star Wars, man. Star Wars isn't about that. I've never, ever, even as a kid, watched the first 6 episodes of Star Wars and was like, you know what they really need to do? Include more gender pronouns. You know? Because it doesn't fucking matter. In Star Wars, you're dealing with aliens. You're dealing with species like the brain can't even comprehend. You're dealing with fucking species that are undiscovered in the galaxy, you know? But like, all of it is just, that's Star Wars. Star Wars isn't, oh, we just found a new species. Okay, so what are they doing? You know, let's not just assume their gender here, you know? It's Star Wars. Just let it be Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's about galactic warfare. It's about good versus bad. And it's about having really intricate plot designs. It's not about ripping the idea from a film that's over 40 years old, where the Force babies are basically fucking common now, and it's not about having lazy written characters that are shit, bland, and no one relates with, you know? That's kind of the main issue with a lot of shitty modern day movies. A good example, Borderlands. Borderlands, no one can relate to anyone. I don't think anyone who played the characters in Borderlands, no one relates to any of them. No one who played Lilith is like, damn, I really resonate with Kate Blanchett in this fucking Borderlands movie. No, it's the same thing with Star Wars. No one's gonna relate to Acolyte, because Acolyte makes no sense. They do things that don't make sense at all, you know? She's supposed to be, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but she's supposed to be like a Jedi hunter, or like a Jedi assassin, or whatever. We've seen those depicted before. Cad Bane, Boba Fett, Jango Fett. They've killed Jedi before, no problem. Acolyte just struggles with everything, and she's like, wow, I didn't expect a Jedi to do that, you know? Sort of reactions, at least from the clips I've seen. And, on top of everything, they make stupid lines that are like, now it's just canon, this is a thing. Great example, the lightsaber that's blue turns red. I guess Darth Vader can never hold a blue lightsaber again in canon. But another thing is, like, the whole line where the Jedi were all lined up, and they were basically, what was it? Jedi only bring out their lightsabers to kill. That's never once ever been a thing. I have watched the Clone Wars before, and I've never ever seen that be a thing. So, yeah, and it's not a thing in the old movies. It's not a thing in any media. They just make up shit as they go. And that's the problem with modern Star Wars now. Seems like every single writer just makes up their own shit because they want to be unique, you know? And I think it finally got to the breaking point where it's just all these films are shit now. You know, for a film that had, where is it? Yeah, $180 million budget. That's $60 million more than the Borderlands movie. Okay? And they still had to cut scenes. Like, I heard through the grapevine that there was a scene where a Wookiee Jedi was supposed to have an epic fight, and because they didn't have enough money, which is a crazy statement, they couldn't make the fight. So they just skipped it. And a Wookiee Jedi would have been a unique fight scene. You never see that, ever, in any Star Wars media. I think the closest thing you had to that was the Wookiee in, was it Rebels? Oh, I can't remember the name. Can't remember the name of the Jedi. But, or it was a youngling, one of those. But the whole idea is unique and cool. You know what I mean? It's just, these films nowadays, like, Disney just can't get away with this shit, you know? Like, a 2.2 rating overall, and you can say, oh my god, it's just men who hate, women, or whatever. I'm just gonna be honest. I can't take, and, like, if you say the reason why you don't like the show is because you're sexist or because you're racist, you have zero idea what a Star Wars fan is, and you have no right to talk about any ratings on any show ever, you know? The main reason why I'm saying that, no Star Wars fan is, okay, not no Star Wars fan, obviously. There are some people who probably are sexist, but no actual Star Wars fan is going to watch a show, and the first thing, they have a woman in it, you know? That's not the first thing we think, you know? Fennec Shen and Boba Fett is a good example. Fennec Shen is actually like a pretty decently popular woman in Star Wars, at least from people I've talked to. And then there's, I don't remember her name, but she's like a white face. She has like a weird fucking, I don't even know what to call it. Her hair is literally like a thing that comes from the top of her head. She's a bounty hunter with Cad Bane in the Clone Wars. Can't remember her name. Badass woman. There's Ahsoka, obviously, one of the most unanimously liked female Jedis who was a Padawan. She's been around forever. But the reason why annoying characters work in Star Wars is because they always have a really long build-up, so they don't drop the character. Ahsoka was very annoying at first, and it was very clearly annoying to the audience, and then she became better as she learned the responsibilities of a Jedi and became her own character. That's why people like Ahsoka. People don't like characters who are obnoxiously annoying nowadays, and you're just supposed to eat the annoying dog shit for 8 hours, because I'm assuming Acolyte's an hour an episode, you know? There's no redemption arc here. That's the reason why Rey sucks. It's not because she's a woman, it's because she's supposed to be perfect and she has no flaws right off the bat. That's not how character progression works. And then she just randomly uses Force Lightning out of nowhere. Little interesting. But yeah, kind of just wanted to shit on the Acolyte now that everyone's dogpiling it. And I haven't watched the show, so I know there's going to be a lot of people who are like, well, your opinion's invalid because you never watched the show. Sure, if that's your opinion, sure, go ahead. But just know, your show that you like is rated 2.2, and my show that I like, let's just see right here. The show that I like, considered to be one of the GOATs of all time. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? Rated 4.9 out of 10. So, or 4.9 out of 5. And, you know, Acolyte 2.2. So, if you like the Acolyte and you think my opinion's invalid because I've only seen clips and not watched the actual show, fair enough, you know? I guess you can like eating your dog shit if you want. But I'll continue with the rest of the community and enjoy things that are really well made, built up perfectly, and low budget films that are made by great writers, you know? And another thing, just before I finish the video, again, nobody cares about the race, nobody gives a fuck it's a woman, nobody cares that they're gay, lesbian, whatever the fuck they are now, a furry, nobody gives a fuck, alright? The main problem is that the character is written like shit, she's boring, she's bland, she doesn't do, like, her position in the galaxy. You know, if you're going to be a Jedi hunter, you should be a badass Jedi hunter. If you're going to be a bounty hunter, you should be a badass bounty hunter. And that's the reason why I'll never forgive Boba Fett even before watching the show, just because I saw him kill Cad Bane in like 10 seconds. One of the worst scenes I've ever seen in Star Wars. But, yeah, nobody gives a fuck about the race or anything. You could have replaced Acolyte with a Gungan, and, like, it probably would have got more popular because it's a Gungan. But nobody cares the fact that it's a black woman. Literally nobody gives a fuck. We only care for good, quality storylines that aren't poorly written and poorly made, and shitty shows that just make dumb things canon, like lightsabers changing colors, you know? Who's to say a blue one goes to a red one, so what does a purple one become? Yellow? Like, okay then. It's just dumb, stupid, bullshit plot lines, and I'm tired of seeing fucking people defend shitty shows when it's quite clearly like, it'd be one thing if this was like 1,000 reviews or something. This is 26,000 reviews at 2.2, you know? And Rotten Tomatoes is shit. I never trust their rating on anything. IGN would give this shit probably like a 3 stars, and that was that's what's it called? Borderlands was rated at, and that's inflated. You know, it's just sad, man. It's so sad. Star Wars was once one of the most popular series out there, still probably is. And like a YouTuber I saw do a rating of the show, he basically said you could literally cut an egg or peel an egg and say it's Star Wars and people will watch it, that's true. You could literally shit a brick and people will watch it as long as it's called Star Wars, because, like, Star Wars fans love everything about Star Wars. But the issue is that now it's so bad that Star Wars fans are not watching the show, and they're needing to cut additional seasons, you know? And we're seeing that a lot now with adaptations and stuff like that. So I don't want to see anything from the Acolyte ever again. I don't want to see a Lego set from the Acolyte. I don't want to see shit from the Acolyte. And I hope it's just buried. And maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Acolyte was already confirmed to not be canon. But maybe I'm thinking of a different show. That could be completely wrong. But, yeah. I thought it was told it's not canon because of how bad and shit it is. And because they had Kid Mundi in it. And Mundi's not supposed to be fucking alive during a time place of Acolyte. I believe it's 100 years before the Clone Wars. Something like that. But yeah. Dumb, boring concept. You're literally, like, pissing on Lucasfilm's baby from 40 years ago for no reason, and you're making a shit spin on it, and you're basically claiming the only reason why people hate it is because it's a black woman. No, people hate it because it's a shit Star Wars film. It has a terrible written plot. It has a copy and pasted shit version of a lot of things in Star Wars. It rewrites dumb things that make absolutely no sense. And it seems like at this point, the only good thing that Star Wars can do is make things in the past rather than make things in the present. And that's why I'm really concerned for episode 10, 11, and 12 whenever Disney wants to release that fucking dog water, you know? Apparently that's a rumor going around. They're working on episode 10, 11, and 12 for, like, the main film series. But, yeah. Pretty much all I wanted to say. I just wanted to rant a little bit. I hate shit like this, where it's like some of my favorite franchises just get dogged on by the creators because the creators don't even know what they want, nor are the heads of the company really paying attention to the creators of the story and everything. I'm just getting fucking sick of it, and I'm so tired of the narrative. You don't like it because it's a black woman. No. I just don't like it because it's shit. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you made it to the end, I appreciate it. I'm probably going to do a little bit of Star Wars content here and there. I'm getting back into the franchise and everything. But, man, once I get through this last episode that I gotta watch, it's going to be nothing but shit for the next little while. But, yeah. Anyways, that's it. If you made it to the end, yeah, I just hope you have a good day.